Oh, we're live. Okay, well, we're live for session 2 of Dune with our wonderful cast of performers. We have a swordmaster, a strategist, and a soup doctor. If you would like to introduce yourselves, Becky.
Am I on the telly? Hi.
Well, it's better than before we went live.
Yeah.
Don't wave the red rag. Don't.
Yes. Hi, I'm Becky, and I am playing Atomica Heilemann.
Swordmaster, I believe.
Oh, yes, very efficient.
And Ronnie.
Yes, I'm playing Darius Wardson. I am the strategist, and yes.
And yes, yeah.
Diplomat.
And Jason, our soup doctor.
Yes, rightly so. I am the souk doctor of the group. And still getting over the telly joke.
I think it's thrown everyone a bit.
Hello,
Yeah.
Fajuk.
Hello, Fajuk.
Fajuk is there. Hello.
Hello.
Fajuk is there.
Briefly.
But not for long.
Fajuk is also on the telly.
He'll be off soon. Okay, so I think we left last episode where you'd been tasked with a new task, obviously, to go to the capital and negotiate with the royal house, with the emperor's house, about this new bride for your lord. And I think you went off to get ready to prepare for this. While you're in your rooms packing, you all get a summons to the mentat of the house, Thufar. You get a summons to his private office, and it's for an immediate meeting.
Head along.
Everything's always immediate with these people. Don't they know I have a default diary?
So upon receiving your summons, you depart for the command center and you enter into Thufar's private office. On your way, the place is bustling with activities, soldiers and technicians and servants. And in the distance, a low rumble of thunder echoes through the hallways as a storm front rolls in. And as you walk deeper and deeper into the palace, there's a little less and less light filters through, and everything's lit by glow globes. At more than one point, you're stopped by guards to check your security clearance. Even Atomica, when she arrives, they wouldn't dare not check security clearance and get in trouble for not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
At last, you come to the security center.
It's not polished properly.
You
See her immediately.
You can write a few citations for not being in correct uniform on your way.
Well, that reminds me of Agnes Truciator.
Just thinking.
Mhm. Yeah.
And as you're arriving at Thufar's office, there's a knot of high-ranking strategists just leaving, and as they come out, they're talking to each other in low, muffled voices. And for one final time, a guard at the door checks your identity as you enter. Inside the room is Thufar, the Lord Calamar's mentat and master of assassins. And as you enter, he says, "Please sit." And he slumps behind the desk he's standing at. He's obviously had quite a long and complicated session with major people in the house issuing orders. He says, "You've been given quite a big task I know the Lord is quite taken with this idea of this potential royal marriage, and he sees it as a way to the royal throne. But if you ask me, he said things are happening. It's a little bit too easy. I think you need to be on your guard while you're there. The royal palace is a very, very dangerous place. Things seem to be happening, and I don't have enough data to judge what they are. So I need you to pass back any information you find, so we can make an estimation of what is the bigger picture, what is the scheme within the schemes.
I see. And do we have a secure mechanism for sending you this information, given we'll be broadcasting essentially from the heart of the Empire?
You can use the house's battle language.
And that isn't known at all by anyone?
We will put he reaches into his desk and pulls out some transmitters. He said, these are scrambled transmitters. Broadcasting from inside the Imperial Palace is obviously going to be extremely dodgy. You need to be careful. This is the best we can do. These are on a secure channel. If you use these with battle language, then we can't really do a lot better unless you send a coded written message, but that will take far too long. Any clues you get to what is actually happening, you need to send it back. This past altercation with the royal house, he says, is very strange to me. I cannot make any sense of it at the moment.
It seemed odd to me that we've gone straight to marriage. The Emperor was furious when we requested the necklace back.
He was, yes.
I don't see why. I mean, he's the Emperor of the known galaxy. Why he would want that particular necklace makes no sense to me at all. Why he would be angry at having to give it back, again, makes no sense at all. It seems to be, the whole thing seems to be a setup to me. This is why you need to be careful while you're there. Something else. There's a bigger game going on.
We need to know what their plan was and what their new plan is. What are they?
It might not even be a new plan. We might just be inside their original plan, having taken the bait for the first one.
Tomiko is right. You need to find out his motives.
We do, but the answer is at the Imperial Palace, and that's where you're going. That is your three's mission, alongside, of course, securing this marriage for the Duke, for the Lord.
Do we have staff at the Imperial Palace?
You might actually have a sort of like a little embassy, perhaps. There, yeah.
So we could send messengers via ornithopter to communicate.
You could. That would take more time than obviously a transmission, but it's possibly more secure. Yes.
Yeah. So if we've got our own people taking the messages back and forth, that would be better, I think. Obviously, if there's something urgent, we'll use these, but...
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That sounds like a good idea.
Have you been given any reason to question anyone's loyalty at our embassy?
No, that's why they're there, because we believe that they are all. We wouldn't send anyone that we thought we questioned. They're all beyond question.
Poll post.
Obviously, what has happened since they've been there, we can't actually tell. But as far as I'm aware, they're all solid people. So your mission is twofold: to gather information, find out what's going on, and secure this marriage. the Emperor is, sorry, the Emperor, the Lord Calamar is obviously very keen for nothing to go wrong with his potential marriage.
We shall do our duty.
Yeah, balls this up and don't bother coming back.
We won't.
Well, that's how to send us off with a nice attitude.
So, any questions before you go?
Not that I can think of.
None that.
No,
Spec
and
with
you have a free reign of collecting any equipment before you go you want as well.
Excellent.
Just a las gun. Foreshadow.
Definitely a foreshadowing.
There we go. Okay. So after explaining the mission and impression upon you how important and how lethal the situation could be at the palace, he dismisses you. And you can go back to your room, finish packing, and gather your equipment.
Yeah. Write
And
down
you-
my last will and testament.
You can be, guards will pick up your luggage, and you can go to the front door. You're met by a ground car, taken to the nearest airfield, and it's ornithopter then to Corinth, which is the imperial city. This takes a few hours to do. When you get to the imperial city, you're met by another ground car, imperial guard, Sadakar in. What we lost? Ronnie? Oh, he's back. You met by another ground car within a Sadakar in dress uniform, who takes you to the Imperial Palace. You're shown to some rooms. They are quite small and near the servants' wing. And your stuff is dumped on the floor. You're left to deal with it yourselves. After a short time, there's a knock on your doors, and you're summoned to a meeting. And this is the guard commander of the household, in which he lays down certain security rules, and says that you will be called to a meeting room to wait on your appointment the next day, and you're not to wander the house, the palace.
So we're under house arrest.
Not under house arrest, but you haven't got security clearance to go wandering.
Is that coming then?
Yeah, possibly if you're here long enough, that will be arranged for you. But they're thinking that you're probably going to be gone before that's actually required.
No, we have a wedding to arrange.
This is the Sadakar commander who's doing this. The Basha that's doing this. He's very dismissive of all sort of like of your position. Sadakar are very arrogant and.
Yes,
I'm
we'll do
certainly
that.
getting that impression.
And he continues writing in the ledger in front of him, and he looks up and says, "Well, you can go."
I'd like to make a formal request for security clearance, please.
Oh, okay. Formal request, and he takes up he moves across to another notebook and writes in that, and that's for all three of you, I presume.
Yes.
Yes.
He makes a note in that.
You may have underestimated how long it takes to arrange a wedding, you see.
And the necessity of dealing with the myriad of complications that can arise when you're setting up a wedding means we may have to travel hither and thither through the house, dealing with various peoples.
He said, if you need to travel for the house, you will be escorted by a guard.
Yes, that is a nice idea in theory. However, the need to make immediate, that sometimes the necessity of planning a wedding means we might have to move with immediacy, which is great for us, not so good for your guards and not so good for your security, hence security clearances. This makes life easy for everyone.
It says there's a communicator in your room. If you need to leave your rooms, please use the communicator and request escort before you leave. You cannot be held responsible for incidences for people wandering in the house.
How long until we get these clearances?
It's usually available in a couple of days.
Expediency would be recommended.
I'm sure it would, he says.
I'm rather recommending it.
Okay.
It's efficient than our security operation, Darius. I have to say, I'm quite pleased with our team now. I say brazenly in front of him.
Do you want to aim on to roll any sort of like I've got your skills, or actually sort of perception or some sort of knowledge to see what they're...
There's an observation skill section.
Observation skill, yeah?
Yeah, I have observation surveillance. It's not really surveillance, but general observation, I guess.
You can roll general observation.
I also have,
observation.
if it helps with this, I do have diplomacy negotiation.
Some sort of diplomacy roll might be good to know what the procedure and the situation is.
By the way, I rolled a 9 and my special rainbow happy dice was a 6.
Ooh, excellent. Okay. So you get the impression that he is he's blocking you purposely. There's no good reason to be saying this to you.
Yes. Which is why I'm insulting his efficiency.
Well, obviously dealing with a much smaller house that you do, then obviously it's a lot easier.
Ah, well, you say that, but of course with the security operation we had in place at the recent ball, I mean, certainly was more substantial than what I've seen so far. I mean, we had everyone there, of course. But the Emperor, we had to, of course, come here to sort out your security at the time.
Yeah, I'm right. This is the first time I actually rolled anything, so I need to double check on how I do this. So I'm rolling. I'm rolling diplomacy.
Yeah.
I've got diplomacy. I've got negotiation as a specialty, which might be useful considering I'm trying to get him to do what I want. So how does it all work?
The number of dice you roll is your charisma value, and then presume, would it be presence or willpower? I'll leave that for Phil.
I'm just going to look up what the current sheet
willpower is
is.
a specialty. Charisma's the main.
Attribute. Yeah. But the number of dice is well, when the skill is rolled, the specialty options, presence or willpower, would usually be one of those two, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, you've got probably it could be a presence. So you've got your charisma number of dice, and you've got your presence number of dice, and then if there's you roll those number of dice. You're looking for your highest single die, and then you add your skill number onto it.
So it would be a 2.
Well, you're on 2 die or adding 2.
Both, actually.
You roll 2 die.
I don't have anything in presence. I've got willpower, but I don't have any presence.
Don't forget.
Okay, roll your willpower then.
One of your dice is a very special happy dice.
Yeah, I've got the red. So would that give me an extra die, the willpower? Because it's plus.
No, it's the same die. It's one of the ones you're rolling. It's a different color.
Oh no, Ronnie said willpower. So what's your charisma? What's your willpower?
2 and willpower 1.
Okay,
so
so 3 dice.
3 dice. Okay.
One of them is a different color.
Yeah, I've got that one. The highest is that die, which is a 5,
Okay.
and
Add on your skill,
plus the 2 for diplomacy
so you get 7.
would be 7.
Okay.
Do I get a bonus for it being negotiation?
Well, negotiation. Yes. Well, I mean, where would that be? Were you under?
It's one of the subset of diplomacy.
Then yeah, most likely.
Then it'd be
So
another
you'd
2.
add that on again. Yeah. So if you've got
Then it'd be another
diplomacy,
2 again.
and that'd be another 2 again. So you're aiming for
Yeah.
9 then. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So what are you trying to do with your 9?
I'm trying to negotiate these bloody. I'm trying, I'm trying to get him to fast track this bloody
Okay.
security clearances.
So he looks at Atomica and he says, Atomica's obviously been a bit more confrontational with her security comments, and Darius steps in and tries to smooth over the path a little bit, and he turns from Atomica and nods at you and he goes, "We will do what we can, and we will get these security passes to you as soon as reasonable."
Excellent. Thank you.
Want to, report that the stalker are obstreperous.
He says, if you'd like to wait in your rooms, I mean, obviously you have free range of the Imperial Gardens, but obviously call a guard if you want to go there.
Very well.
We understand.
And I was going to say, before we all head back, actually, let's meet in the garden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do.
A nice garden portrayal discussion scene.
Yes, absolutely. We'll walk past, underneath that guy's window. Then he shouts out to Cartman, "He's betraying you."
He's done this with 3 different people. You're being betrayed.
So yeah, you can meet in the garden. You take a detour. You're being escorted back to your rooms, but you say you want to get some fresh air, and the guards sort of like follow you less closely in the garden. So they stand a good like 5 or 6 feet back, allowing you to have a walk and discuss or whatever you want.
We switch, of course, to battle language.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can speak to people while they're still conscious. I find it so easy to operate on them whilst they're under the knife, but
Charge!
talking, it's...
Sorry, it's a
Frivolous.
limited dialect.
It's literally that, okay.
I will parry that charge.
Oh.
Excellent
dear.
riposte.
Excellent riposte, yes. Quick
So
thrust.
I'd rather say the conversations outflanked me.
What do you want to do in the garden then?
Well, really, it's just sort of, let's arrange to meet here in the morning and after the meetings. Like, we'll just arrange now to always meet here at a set time, morning and evening.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The secure garden is basically like a walled garden that you can walk in. It's very sort of ornamental and a kept garden. So
But-
yeah,
Well, who else is here?
you can see a few ladies walking around, and a few guardsmen stationed in different alcoves around the garden, all done in their ceremonial Sadakar uniforms.
I say we split and approach any lady that isn't a Bene Gesserit and talk to them, see what connections we
Oh, you can do, but you don't necessarily know who's a Bene Gesserit. Mind, bear that in mind.
They don't all have funny headdress, no. That's just the film.
Well, no, I mean, in the film, obviously you had the Reverend Mothers and stuff, but Jessica was actually Bene Gesserit trained,
True. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
and so was Princess Irulan.
No, fair enough. We'll just have to run the risk then.
Okay, so you can walk up to her, whoever you want, and strike up a conversation.
I think we should all split and pick one and split.
Okay, so who's Bertram walks up to like a couple of young ladies who are strolling. They've got the big the tight waisted skirts, dresses that sort of flare out at the bottom. It's like the big bell bottom dresses, and they're walking down a gravel path, chatting to each other. And the suit doctor sort of bows in front of them, introduces himself.
Greetings, fair ladies.
Oh, hello, doctor.
What are we trying to get out of them again?
We're just making contact,
Anything.
finding out who they are. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay,
what's the talk in the in court at the moment? That kind of thing.
Okay, let me have a quick. Oh, okay.
Quite frankly, until we have something sort of solid as an evidence and all the rest of it, gossip is as good a place to start.
Okay, fine. I couldn't remember if it was something like specific or if it was just gossip, rumors, whatever.
Okay, so one of the women that did the doctor's approach, actually, he's scored quite hard my die roll. She's dressed in quite a gold gown, and she's quite tall, with long blonde hair, and she turns out to be she is actually Princess Irulan.
Run away! Is that the one that
doctor?
married?
That's the one that the Lord was promised a royal marriage. He says that she is of marriageable age, and if he married her, he would be sort of the next in line for the imperial throne.
So, right, okay,
So
and
maybe
that's the
not
one
run
that's
away?
been put forward. So, right, okay. Well, knowing my Dune history as I do, that bodes badly for us for this story. Depends how well Phil wants to tie this into the actual Dune universe. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So she says, "Hello, Doctor. I've not seen you in the palace before."
No, I am on a flying visit, shall we say.
Well, I hope you have a good time while you're here.
Thank you. It is a most beautiful place. This. I was honestly wondering if you could recommend anything to me whilst I'm here, any activities, or if you know of anything that I should maybe pick up upon that as a doctor I would need to know about.
She says, well, I believe there's quite an important meeting coming up. She says that I believe there's a guildsman actually going to be present. If you've never seen one, then that might be worth visiting.
Do you know who exactly?
Oh, I'm afraid not. No, I'm afraid not.
When did you say the meeting was taking place?
Sometime in the next couple of days.
Here
Depends when they arrive.
Here at the palace?
Yes.
Very well. I will certainly look into that. I'm going to be here for a few days.
Oh, well, we'll probably see you around at some point. It's one of the evening dues, or around the palace, perhaps, maybe in the garden.
Absolutely. And of course, if you need me to do a checkup, just let me know.
Oh, thank you very much. A rather dashing young suit doctor. Very, 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 very nice of you to offer.
And in a stunning twist, the woman who was betrothed to marry our lord falls in love with Bertram, causing a huge rift in our house.
And they sort of walk off, and you can see them sort of talking to each other and looking back at you as they move off. And Darius, you can see there's a gentleman in like a military uniform, not Salakar uniform, talking to a couple of ladies sitting on a bench. Are you approaching them?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Okay.
What time of day is this?
Oh, you just got there, so it's probably going to be just prior to lunch. Everyone's taking a stroll just before they go in for lunch, I expect.
Good morning.
And the gentleman looks around and says, "Oh, good morning." He says, "And who are you?"
My name is Darius. I am visiting here for a few days.
He says, "Oh, I'm the Count Tycho di Mauritani."
A great honor, sir.
So you know this guy is you encountered Count Ilban Mauritani, was the person that caused you so much trouble back in your capital city. If you can do me you got like a house knowledge roll, believe it, Ronnie.
Yes, I do. Okay, well, do I have house knowledge? Got world knowledge.
Yeah, world knowledge, home world. House knowledge is
house
not under
knowledge.
history, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's under history.
Oh, I've got history house. Yeah.
History house. Go for that one. So it says your top skill, then your attribute, then your edge or dice is added to your skills underneath.
Yeah, that made it more confusing.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. So if you're doing history, that's plus your intellect.
Yeah. Would that be logic or perception or just straight up?
Probably logic, because you already know this. You already know it.
There's a difference between having 3 dice and 4. You see, this is why we have-
You see, yes.
one has to know. You see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly.
The highest die that I've rolled is a 6. I rolled a 5 on the drama die.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. But I've rolled a 6, and adding to my history house, that's another 3 all in.
Oh, okay, that's not bad, is it? So yes, you know that this guy, obviously, he is obviously his house Mauritania, but he's actually de facto lord of the house. This Count, he's in charge of the house, so he's effectively in charge of this grand house.
I give him a respectful bow. My very great honor to meet you, sir.
He says, "And what house are you attached to? You part of the royal palace?"
House Chevona.
He says, and sort of like it sort of freezes up. You can see he sort of freezes up, and that's very pleased to make your acquaintance.
It is very, very good to meet you, sir. I am very honored indeed.
We probably need to be moving on now. He says, we must get back. We've meetings scheduled. Ladies, if you wouldn't mind.
Come on, Ronnie, Columbo him.
Just one. No, I don't have enough information to do just one more thing on him just yet. I need leverage on him.
And he says, he turns to you and bows and said, it's just not a deep bow, it's a shallow bow. Says, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we'll see you in the palace at some other time." And he turns and leaves.
Yeah. Thing about Columbo always had leverage before he went in on anyone. I need leverage first.
Leverage. You just caught him red-handed.
It's a bit of a shock. He was shocked to see you there, actually. Yes, so Atomica. There's probably like another couple of ladies in the gardens, or a couple of gentlemen talking. Which group would you like to approach?
It's the men.
It's the men. Okay. Are
Yes.
you,
Going lower class.
sorry. So
Sorry,
you,
being-
I take it you're in some sort of uniform.
Yes, I'm in my house uniform.
Okay, you're in a house uniform. As you walk, once you wander over, they
With all
sort of like
medals.
all medals. Obviously, that has impressed them a little bit.
I do have commendations, don't I, for various things?
Yeah, very probably.
No, it's in it was in my valor I've had a commendation.
Oh, for your in your bio, yeah.
It's about being a sword master.
So they bow as you approach, and they say, "Pleased to meet you, friend."
Hello, and who might you be?
Oh, we're one of them says, "I'm a sword master to House Tracidi," and the other one says he's a sword master to Atreides House. He says, "I'm Duncan Hideout."
Oh, okay. So one of the fringe worlds then. Because I haven't heard of these houses.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
So they're both.
I'm assuming so.
There's obviously
You are the reason diplomats need to exist.
At least you stay in work. Is it? Are you here for the great meeting later today?
The great meeting later today. That's the. Which one's that? Because I have an appointment tomorrow. What's the one today?
Oh, with the emperor and the guildsmen and the houses major.
No, not here for that one.
Oh, okay.
My purpose is for a completely different meeting.
So well, this is interesting. I didn't know anything else was going on this week.
Oh, yes. It's interesting. Yes, no, it's let's see the rumor, shall we? I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud, but my character isn't. I think I'm going to do it. Yes, the royal wedding.
Royal wedding. They both look at each other and who's getting married?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to say.
And they look at your you must have like a house sigil on your jacket.
Absolutely, I'm in Slavona uniform.
So Shavona and not an imperial wedding, surely.
I'm not saying House Slavona is involved in the wedding. I'm purely here to assist with the wedding. I'm a swordmaster myself, and obviously Slavona has a place on the homeworld, as it were.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's very interesting. That's a bit of news we've not heard of. Is it? Us sort of like us combatants need to sort of stand together, and
to some extent, yes.
Comrades in arms and everything.
Oh no! Well, sometimes we're against each other, of course.
Well, until we meet on the battlefield, that's obviously a different matter.
So, the guildsmen coming. I've never actually met one in person myself.
No, that can be quite off-putting. They say that can be quite quite
blobby kind of thing. So I've heard.
Yes, I think it is meant to be a stage 3 guildsman. Quite extraordinary sight, apparently.
Those are the ones in the fish tanks, right?
Yeah. Fish tank. Yes, they're quite.
Why are the guild coming though, and major houses and so forth?
There's something going on. We'll be informed at the meeting what's happening. Unsure at the moment. It's a bit of a strange. They look at each other. Yeah, it's a bit strange at the moment. Something's in the offing, but we're quite not sure what it is.
So they've not given you any indication. I appreciate if you can't tell me, but they haven't actually told you what it's about.
Oh, it's completely secret at the moment.
Oh,
Completely new. I mean, it must be big. I mean, they even got the Harkonnens here, so must be quite a big statement, because obviously no one invites them unless they have to.
Oh, I'd love to kill a Harkonnen.
Wouldn't you all? And Duncan Ido says, perhaps next time we have a raid, we'll give you a call.
You know what? If I could come along a mercenary, I absolutely will.
Okay, so you sort of hit it off with these two.
Here's my number.
So you're really hitting it off with these other two, these two at the moment. What's Bertim and Darius doing? Are you waiting for Atomica?
I'm just admiring the amount of work I'm going to do for the rest of the day.
No, it's fine. It's fine, because what we're doing at the moment is diplomacy, and when it fails, it actually comes to my department, so you get the afternoon off.
Yes.
What you got here is a misallocation of resources.
I wouldn't mind seeing if I can, I guess, hot desk a lab or something if I need to be there and need to work.
Okay, yeah. So you can ask one of the guards to be shown to the medical center, and as a school doctor, I mean, they all are approved by the Emperor.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be given a desk and some instruments to work with. Yeah, certainly.
Cool.
If required.
I'm going to see if I can go into lunch with the other guests.
Yeah, I mean, there's the sort of dining halls open for a certain amount of time, and there's just like a buffet on, and people can pick up whatever they need. Yeah, certainly.
Right. Is there a sort of what house staff are in the room in the dining area?
There's a lot of servants here.
Anyone higher up?
Probably not. No, there's probably just servants. There's not what we're looking for. A member of the family, sort of thing. Are you?
Yeah.
And none of the family wouldn't eat with the guests and sort of.
Find the sort of head, the equivalent of the butler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone's running this show.
Yes, there will be someone standing to one side directing the action. Yeah. Yes.
No, this is going to take a bit of doing. I want to catch the eye of that lord that I made scoot off.
Okay.
Quickly. But I want to catch him while I'm talking to this butler. I'm going to make a subtle but deliberate point of actually looking in his general direction and possibly pointing whilst I'm talking to the butler about some of the arrangements we might have to do for the reception.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of pointing to various areas. The upshot is I want to give that lord the impression that I'm telling a member of staff what I saw in the garden.
Okay.
I just want to prick his conscience a bit.
I see where you're going. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So he's sort of sitting with his back to you as you talk to the the main butler. But
as I say,
what you see, one of the women sort of nod to him, and she does it a couple of times. He looks around and sees you going.
And my chat is completely innocent. I'm only focused on the reception. I'm talking about how big the tables will have to be, all the rest of it. As I'm gesticulating, I'm making it look like I'm sort of pointing in their general direction. The kind of thing that could be seen as that I can dismiss as quite innocent should I be confronted about it. And obviously the butler will confirm that my gesticulation was quite innocent. But I want to put him on edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can do that. You see he snaps back around with his back to you and sits quite stiffly for a minute while he's considering what you might be saying to the butler.
Yeah.
Back in the
Told
garden,
you, need leverage.
Duncan Idaho says to Tomica, well, we weren't going to go in for lunch. If you would like to come with us, we were going to go for a drink.
Excellent. The only other thing I was going to do is sweep my rooms for bugs, but seeing as I'm not having a conversation in there, I appear to have an opportunity for drink.
Yes, and they take you off out of the palace and into the city for into a bar and start having a few drinks.
Right. Is this your first time to the capital world?
No, we've been here several times.
Several times. So you're familiar with the local drinks?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. Time for the specials then.
And when you get into this bar, you actually meet up. There's actually almost like a bit of a club going. There's actually swordmasters from different houses there. All the houses at the meeting. It's almost like there's a truce almost called for the swordmasters, and they all sort of meet at this bar.
Mm-hmm. What about the Militani, whatever they're called?
Oh, okay, yeah. Mauritani.
Mauritani.
Yeah, the Mauritani swordmaster is there, yes.
I'm gonna, with a drink in hand, I will take him a drink. I will put it down in front of him and say no hard feelings, and then slap him on the back a few times firmly.
He sort of laughs and says, "Well, you comes time you just got to do what you're instructed."
So, well, yes, of course. And luckily for you, I've not been instructed to press the matter further. In fact, I've been instructed to drop it.
Ah, that's excellent. Well, we can have a drink then.
Otherwise, I'd have had to have killed you, of course. I said, here's a drink.
You could have tried. But we've all sworn not to do that under these circumstances.
Well, of course. For a start, I'm drinking, and I appear to be ahead of you. Catch up, man.
And there's 5 or 6 of you. They're all drinking, all from different houses. But shop talk is sort of strictly off the table. It's all sort of an old battle story sort of thing.
Okay, but there's one bit of information I want to get before the night is done.
Okay.
And I could actually get it just by seeing when he leaves, actually. But if the opportunity comes up, then I'll definitely ask it. It's just, is he going to the meeting today with the Guild Navigator?
He's not. No.
Okay.
He said anyone there, if you ask, just general chat around the table, it's only for the actual head of the households and the chief strategist.
Okay, so yeah, what I'm trying to get out then is his house there?
His house is there, yes.
That's what I needed to know.
As is everybody else's.
So at some point, I'll excuse myself to just gonna get some fresh air, pretend I've had too much. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get on this comlink and broadcast in obviously battle language back to our mentat about the guild meeting and list the houses that I know are attending. Okay,
yeah, you can do that. That's fine. Okay, brilliant. What's everybody else doing now then? Are you sitting there for lunch while you're there, Darius?
I think it will actually. I'm gonna sit. I'm not gonna sit beside him. I think that would just be asking for trouble. But I am going to sit close enough so that he can see me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not close enough that he can hear me unless he really goes for it.
And is Bertim, are you going to join Darius at the lunch?
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Okay, so you can both be there, and Darius can fill you in on the fact that he thinks he's rattled this count.
Yeah. In fact, I'll make a point of saying it again.
Sorry.
Casually pointing in a general direction. You know, the whole notion. The whole notion is a person with a guilty conscience will automatically think any action that looks in their vicinity is focused on them. I'm trying to prick him.
So so you can have a nice meal, you can eat whatever you want, and people come and go in the dining room in the palace. You don't see Atomica for the rest of the day. She's obviously busy elsewhere doing whatever she's doing. But you probably meet up again in the evening, I would assume.
Yes.
Yes.
And you sort of like let everybody know, let each other know what's happening. And Tomica says she's been out drinking with other swordmasters, and you let on what you know. Darius, was you hoping to get anything else from this, trying to rattle this count? Sorry.
I'm sowing the seeds. I'm hoping it'll pay off later on.
Okay.
You're muted.
Oh, whoops. You've missed quite a lot then. I wish we'd mentioned when we had the chance to Princess Irilana that about the wedding, just a mention of it in front of others. And if we get the opportunity again, I'd like to do that.
Okay, you don't see her again today. Okay, but the next morning, you spend this is your first day in the palace. So the next morning, no one comes to get you from your rooms. There's no, because you're waiting for like an audience. But you just, nothing happens. No one comes to get you at all.
Before the lunch, at the same time, I'm hoping she's a creature of routine, so I'm going to take her to the garden.
Okay, yeah. So after no one comes to get you from your rooms, you sort of all meet up again, and you decide to go to the gardens. And yes, you can see she's there again with the same woman having a stroll before lunch.
Yeah, and we would like to, as Atomica is talking to her, I think Bertram and I would like to hang under that suspiciously brilliant window that lets us eavesdrop on the important information.
Well, you've already spoken to her. How comfortable are you approaching her and mentioning the wedding?
Bertram. How comfortable are you being in the hot seat?
I am not a diplomat by any means. I could possibly do with backup.
I will be there. I will be there with an earshot, but not so close as to make it look like we're crowding the young lady.
Our two parties could meet. All we have to do is walk that way together, and we can say hello and exchange pleasantries and mention the wedding.
Okay, so after a bit of jostling around the garden, you actually managed to put yourselves on the same path, but in opposite directions, so you can actually walk past. And as you meet the lady with Princess Irulan, she sort of curtsies a bit towards you.
Do the same.
Yeah, and is Bertram saying anything?
I'm obviously bowing.
Bowing, okay. And she says, good doctor, it's nice to see you again. You obviously like our gardens?
Yes, they are most pleasant.
Good. I'm yes, I do like walking here and have a bit of peace and quiet, and get out in a bit of nature, although it's in the palace, but it's more relaxing than perhaps being inside with all the people.
Yes, I'm sure it'll be most picturesque for the wedding later.
Oh, is there a wedding?
Yes, taking place in several days, in fact.
Ah, who's that? Is it something to do with House Shavona?
To a degree, yes. We are here to help with said wedding.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very interesting. I'm glad my father is very, very kind to allow you to have the wedding here in the palace. It must be very important.
Very important, yes. Possibly the most important to happen for a good few decades.
Oh, very interesting. Well, I wish you the best of luck with your arrangements, and I hope I can get to attend.
I very much hope so. In fact, I'd recommend. It's supposed to be. It is supposed to be a most a very exciting wedding. Let's put it like that.
I think my friend is saying that for yourself, madam, it would be a wedding not to be missed.
Oh, and you are, sir?
Oh, I am just merely an associate of this fine young man.
Oh, any friend of our kind doctor is obviously a friend of ours, and
You're most
you are,
kind.
madam, looking at Atomica.
I am Atomica Heileman. How should I know that?
And she gives a short little curtsy, like a little very little pleasantry curtsy to you, and says, "And you're all of the same house. You're all of House Shavona, I take it."
Yes. When we saw each other here, we just had to say hello.
Well, hello, she says. It's been very nice to meet all of you. I hope you enjoy your stay, and good luck with the wedding. That sounds very, very exciting.
I'm so glad you think so.
It's certainly intriguing. Yes.
Very good. And she says, looks to her companion and says, "Oh, please, come along. And they stop wandering off again, chatting.
Well,
I
that
wait-
explains the lack of a meeting today.
I wait. I wait until she's a good distance away. Yes, I have a feeling that the announcement of this engagement is why all the houses have been brought together.
I don't think there's a wedding.
Well, the meeting was yesterday evening.
Oh, right. I thought it was today.
Same.
I thought it was.
Oh, we could do
today.
it today. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I could do it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that it just hasn't happened today.
Okay, it doesn't happen yet because this is still pre-lunch, isn't it? So you do, yeah. Okay, we'll do it today. That's fair enough. Yeah. So what else? Is there anything else you want to discuss at the moment, or?
Just a question then, just to clarify any confusion over plot. Have we missed the meeting yet?
No, you haven't.
Or is that about to happen?
Yeah, the meeting will be happening this afternoon.
Okay. In that case, we get some lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to find this house Mauritani.
Mauritania.
Mauritani. I'm going to find someone from House Mauritani and sit near them.
Okay, yeah. What you can see when you go into lunch is people are grouped around. Everyone seems to be having quite a lot of people seem to be having lunch early, and they're grouped in their house groups.
Does that count there again?
You don't see him, no.
Okay.
Well, if people are in their house groups, I'd like to go over to House Mauritani, and I'll just have a very light snack with me, a very small amount of food.
Obviously, you can recognise the guy you saw the night before, and he's sitting there at the table.
And I said, "Do you mind if I sit for a moment?"
And he's quite surprised. No, please.
Oh, it's just nice, what with us being on friendly territory, that we're no longer in conflict and everything.
Of course, yes, we wouldn't dare fight in the Imperial Palace, obviously.
Absolutely. Neutral territory and everything.
Please have a seat.
Thank you. Do introduce me to the rest of your house. I mean, I've only seen them all in security pictures.
He introduces several different people, and there'll be sort of like different high-ranking guard captains and security personnel from Mauritania, and maybe a couple of mentats.
Ah, mentats. Interesting. Oh, I bet you've got some secrets in there that I'd love to know.
Well, being a great house, we do travel with quite a large entourage.
And I'll just exchange pleasantries because I just kind of want to be there to intimidate them a bit, really.
Okay, yeah, it does put them on edge that people are sort of like you keep peering and asking questions, but it comes time.
I'm just being polite, but and humorous. But I'm kind of there. So
Okay, so if you can give me, have you got some sort of like observation roll, some
I
sort of
have.
perception observation roll?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an incredibly observant person, and I double sicked, including the magic die.
Oh, very good.
Nice.
Okay, so that's a really good high one. You get the impression that they are a lot more less forthcoming than he was yesterday. You get the impression that they've been warned about something the night before.
Right. Okay.
Very possibly Darius is had an effect on the law of the count, and it's been passed back down the chain of command. That perhaps Savona has them under some sort of observation.
Then it's perfect that I'm here, so I'll actually just stay a little bit longer than I perhaps otherwise would. And when I do eventually get up to leave, I'll grab one of their drinks and drink it and put it back down on the table and walk off. Just to establish dominance.
Okay, and they all do sort of get up and they have to rush off very reasonably quickly.
At some point, I'm going to run out of napkin space. I've been jotting down all the work I'm going to have to do after this lunch is ended, and I'm going to run out of napkin space.
There's obviously quite a lot of repair that you have to do as a diplomat to re-establish your house's position.
The last bit with the drink there has just gone down to 3 letters in huge type. WTF exclamation point underscore.
9:30. Do you want anyone to break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Okay,
Sure.
we'll have a break for 5 minutes and back in a sec.
Okay.
It has been decreed too late for coffee. So I'm having another beer.
It's never too late for coffee.
I was just telling Jason my theory as to what's happening. I need to put defenses in place.
I have a few thoughts.
Well, there was a meeting of the Landstrad yesterday and we weren't there, which means the Emperor's asking permission to attack our house. So we got to put defenses in place.
Okay.
So I need to make a phone call again. So after lunch, I'm going to go for a walk in the capital.
Okay.
And find a quiet spot.
You can certainly do that. Yes. And you're calling back to Mazine, I take it, back to Thufa, your mentor.
Yeah. And then in the battle language, I will say this. Landstrad met yesterday, our house not present. Can only mean one thing. Please put 6 Ornithopters in orbit with personal shields and las guns. No indication wedding is I assume we've established a code word for the princess.
You could well do, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll use that code word and say is unaware of wedding.
Okay. And you get a communication back saying message received and understood. Wait for further orders. Or carry on and wait for further orders. And you get back to the palace. This is probably at some point in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be because that would have been after lunch, and then I'll get back and I assume I'll get back in time for the meeting, or I would have done it after. But
okay, the meeting's going on. The security is pretty high. You see a covered, I don't know, wagon being drawn through the corridors of the palace to the meeting chamber. Big gold, what's it called, oval thing being drawn through, and the doors close, and there's several guards outside. The meeting goes on for several hours, and when it breaks up, most of the houses leave. You can see you keep and watch out in the corridors to see when it all ends.
We're not allowed, are we? Even if we can, then I will.
Okay, you can make a excuse. You want to get something to eat, or you've been allowed out of the house, so you could be hanging around.
Okay.
Up to and fro.
If we're caught, we were heading to the garden.
Yeah.
Okay. As you see House Atreides leaving, amongst others, and Duncan Hoido nods to you and he says, "We're bound for Caladan. Guard yourself until we're back in the palace again. You better guard yourself. Bear in mind that while you're out of the palace, then you're going to be fair game for everybody." And they leave. Most of the other families have come out of the meeting, but you've not seen the guild member again, and not all of the families you don't think have come out.
We haven't seen a Harkonnen yet, then.
You've not seen a Harkonnen yet? No, definitely not. Okay. Again, you don't see when the meeting breaks up. It's obviously late into the evening, and the next day, you still don't get any sort of call to a meeting about this wedding.
Yes, I'm starting to think you're spot on.
So in our garden walk, then
in your garden meeting, yes.
Yeah. So the question is, do we pursue it? Do we say, where's our meeting? I mean, obviously we should. We're under orders to stay here and carry on.
Yes, I think we should talk with someone.
Okay. You put a request in to the guard to speak to somebody about the reason you're here. Maybe the Emperor's private secretary or something. Because obviously you're not going to get a meeting with the Emperor straight away. And he nods and he disappears to pass the message on. In a couple of hours he comes back. It's been a long time. You've been waiting in the garden a long time. And he says, you've been summoned to a meeting. He says, would you please follow me?
Absolutely.
And he leads you not towards the royal sort of wing of the house. Let's have a look at that. One open. He leads you to a different wing of the house, actually, and he stops outside of a quite a small door and raps on the door. And a small voice enters from inside. A female voice says, "Come in." And he pushes the door open and gestures for you to walk in.
I'll go in first, make sure it's not an ambush.
Okay, so you go in, and what you do is you find an old woman in a black robe with a hood drawn down over her forehead, and she's standing looking out of the window. And as you enter, she turns to see you, and she leaves the window and she walks to her chair behind her desk, and she puts one scrawny hand on the back of the chair, and her face is peering out of the hood in a witch-like carriage, with sunken eyes and cheeks, overlong nose, and skin mottled and with protruding veins. And she introduces herself as the Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohan.
Pleasure to meet you, and I'll. As I go to gesture the others in, I'm kind of unsure if I should.
And as all three of you walks in,
At this point, we all need to take the risk now.
she takes a moment to study each of you as you come in. And as Tommy is standing there gesturing and everything, she looks you up and down, and she says, "So you're the one that bested Count Fenring?" And she nods, looking at you, and she sees Bertin, and she says, "And I suppose you're the one that gave her the edge to do so. Some sort of drug, eh?"
I am a doctor, yes.
I take it the three of you have been especially chosen for this mission.
Indeed.
Yes.
Please sit, she says, as she slowly takes her seat. She says, "So they've sent a diplomat to negotiate the details and smooth the way, and a swordmaster to assess the security, and the trusted suit doctor to ensure there's no unpleasant surprises, and at least there'll be possibility of at least one heir, eh? I've been told you've been asking the Princess Eurolan about a wedding."
No, we told her we were here about a wedding. We gave her no further details. We didn't ask her about any wedding.
And she says, "You've been dropping hints about a royal wedding and talking to the Princess Eurolan."
We've been talking to a few people about possible weddings.
Well, as a diplomat, you must surely be aware there's no way in hell that the Princess Eurolan's going to be wedded to a lord of a minor house.
That had occurred to me.
It had occurred, but the offer was made on a point of honor.
The offer was made, and the offer will be kept. Your lord, Calamar, will get a royal wedding. It's certainly not going to be the Princess Irulan.
Who then?
We've selected a suitable candidate, we believe, and it's fortuitous you're here, actually, because you can go and collect her. From the Bene Gesserit school on Welwich 9.
Is this
Who?
bride of age?
Of course she is.
Who?
Who? She says oh, damn. It's Miriam.
Bridie McBrideness.
Bridie McBrideness, yeah. What was the one in there? Preggers from the. No, it's Miriam. It's one of the daughters from one of the Emperor's cousins. Still royal blood.
And where will this wedding be taking place?
The wedding will be taking place in Mazin.
What's Mazin, by the way?
That's your capital city. That's
That's
the city you control.
No, I think it should be here.
Here?
Oh yes.
Well, that's for you to organise. I'm not involved in that sort of thing, but I'm just here to pass the news on that this is what you're going to have to do.
If the Duke is to accept, then it would need to be here.
Yes.
It would have to be a full royal wedding.
I'm not sure.
It was promised.
Not sure the girl deserves it or wants it.
But our Lord does. He was offered and accepted a royal wedding.
Nothing was said about where, I believe.
No.
Honor dictates that a royal wedding must take place at the royal palace.
Something might be arranged, she said, possibly. But you need to pick her up from the chapter house.
And what do we get in exchange for the trip?
You get a new lady and doing your duty to your lord.
Not what I meant. See,
Payment.
no. No, this is a negotiation of details, is it not?
Yeah, well, yes.
So, if we're to be conveniently out of the way, what does our Lord get in return?
He gets a royal wedding.
How about the Emperor in attendance?
He's not going to be in line for the throne.
We know. I mean the Emperor in attendance at the wedding.
Oh, sorry. Possibly we might convince him to make a short appearance.
I think nothing less than the Emperor giving the bride away would be suitable in this instance.
Well, surely that's her father's duty.
A royal wedding requires royal assent. The Emperor must be there.
If this goes smoothly, your Lord Calamar marries Marjorie. then I think I can arrange for the Emperor to give her away.
We will discuss such with our lord.
But House Shavona pays for the wedding.
What was our brief again? Are we meant to get the Emperor to pay?
I don't think that was actually specified. You're there to talk about dowries and stuff.
Ah, right, okay. Ah, so we enter the dowry part of the negotiation.
That's something to take up with her father, not with me.
With respect again, you see, the problem that you have is that our Lord was sold the promise of a royal wedding. That comes with certain expectations. Expectations such as here as the venue, the attendance of the emperor, a dowry in keeping with a royal wedding.
Yes, but she's not the emperor's daughter. The emperor's not paying her dowry. You have the emperor attending. You have a wedding in the royal palace.
And I think, well, obviously, before our Lord can accept, we will need to discuss what the dowry is. So we will need to speak to her father. Is he here?
He is here. He will be available this evening to discuss that. If you want to leave, there's a frigate or it's a high liner leaving for Woolwich 9 tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much. I got nothing more to ask.
No, until
Okay.
no, actually, and I'm saying this as player rather than character. Until we got to find out where this dowry is. Anything we're being offered here is now less than we were expecting. So,
Well,
seriously,
it is and it isn't.
okay, as play, yeah.
Becky
We were expecting to be screwed over at some point, some way, somehow. But the offer came with expectations that this is now, flying under.
Right. I want to go to after this meeting. So yeah, I'll wait until. I think we've got nothing more here, though, have we? So,
Tim, have you got anything you want to say?
No. Like I said, as a player, I'd much rather wait until things start unfolding.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to go to our embassy then.
Okay. Yes.
So send somebody back with this for, with details of what we've just discussed, basically, and that we're going to find out the dowry. They want us gone, and I just want to add a personal note to the Mentat that I'm a bit uncomfortable going at the moment when there's the possibility of whatever was discussed at that Landstrad that we should have been at. Because I assume we're normally at a Landstrad.
As a minor house of Canteen, yeah, it's very possible you would have been there. You receive a message back from your Mentat saying that obviously he believes that the Emperor is extremely upset since his plan. We've embarrassed him effectively with the necklace scheme going wrong, and it might be a punishment for that, or it might be someone whispering in his ear to try and edge us out of our thief on Canteen, perhaps. Obviously, we're not massively popular, being with our overall goal of returning the Imperial Emperor to Secundus. It's not massively popular with the Emperor or anyone else, to be honest.
Yes, well, they're all soft here, aren't they? This pussyfooting around and politics. Should get on a real planet. I'll soon toughen them up.
So it could be something about Secundus, but why if it was anything about Secundus, why the other houses were involved, he doesn't know. Like you said, there's something big going on, but he's unsure what it is.
Well, just keep the suicide bombers in place. That's what they are. That's why I wanted 12 ornithopters in orbit, in case an invasion fleet comes. We're on high alert.
You are determined to make that thing fly, aren't you?
It's going to happen.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically, we've got 12 ornithopters in orbit, piloted by absolute loyalists. They've got a personal shield and a las gun, and if an invasion fleet flies up, they're to get as close as they can and detonate. This is high alert when you're outgunned by the entire universe, right? The whole Imperium.
So,
and local news goes on and say, and at the end of this wedding, we've seen a wonderful flyover by the military and a fantastic firework display.
it'll put on as part of the celebration.
Never seen anything like it.
Just like Flash Gordon at the wedding at Flash Gordon.
No, seriously, what else would you do when you're one minor house and you've got potentially the Imperium against you? Of course, you'll.
No, I agree. I agree with the theory. It's just it's very extreme. I agree with it. I agree with the concept.
Later on that day, you get a guard comes to you, all three of you, and you get asked to a small meeting room, and sitting down opposite a table. It's a fairly bare room. Is Count Honor, and he stands up and says, "I believe we're here to talk about dowry for a wedding."
Indeed, we'll be getting to know each other a bit better, I understand, as families.
He said, "This is nothing of my doing. You're not going to get very much."
You're unhappy with the match?
Oh, yes, my daughter's a Bene Gesserit. She can be married to a major house.
I see.
Why does she want to be married to a minor house that, quite frankly, is not the most popular at the moment?
Not the most popular? I'm sorry, I didn't know that it was a popularity contest. We have the marriage through our strength.
Well, how much is it you want?
This is how negotiations work. You are the person offering the dowry. You give the offer. We then negotiate, and then when we have both reached an accord that we can live with, we then take that offer to our Lord, and he will make his decision upon it.
And if, unfortunately, your view is that we don't deserve much, then I will strongly suspect our Lord will be insulted.
He says, I'll offer 21,000 in gold and precious gems, and my daughter can have 2% of our country contract.
Okay, for the basics of us who are not steeped in Dune lore, what's 21,000? Is that good, bad, or indifferent?
It's not massive, right?
What's the 2% of their chone contracts? But how big is their chone contract?
The chone
And how many
contract is
children
not.
does he have actually?
How many children does he have? He has maybe 4 or 5. He has 3 sons and 2 daughters.
Actually,
So
I
anything
have Phil. I have economics, Chom Industries. Can I use that to work out exactly how much he's actually got?
Well, it's less about the total to me than the proportion, because if he's got 5 children, was it? Then
He's got 3 sons and 2 daughters.
yeah. So it should be 10%.
Yes, but I want to go from a position of strength. Right? Is this going to be logic again? Intellect, logic. Gimme.
Gimme.
Yes, it will. And your chone as a bonus.
Yeah. Bugger balls.
Bugger balls.
Bugger and balls. That's just the way my night has gone. I've rolled a 6. My drama die was not a 1. Wasn't a 6 either, but it's not a 1. And I have another 4 to add for my Chom Industries.
So what's that total?
That'll be 10 in total.
10. Okay, yeah. So you it's not an impressive amount. Chone contracts are worth a lot of money. That's what everyone.
Yeah.
That's where all just get their cash from.
But
Yeah.
you have so few children. 2% is an insult to our Lord. If I present that to him, I may next be seeing you on a battlefield. That's ridiculous.
Well, what do you suggest?
I would add a 0.
Well,
20%.
he's not dying and passing on his inheritance, but 10%.
5%.
7.5.
Let's meet in the middle between your offer and mine. 15.
You might as well get back on the ornithopter now. 15 is never going to happen.
No, it won't.
Okay.
Then I will respectfully discern to my swordmaster here 10%.
Sorry, what did you say, Ronnie?
I said I will discern to my swordmaster here and say 10%.
Is it 8 is all I'm willing to go to.
8% of gross.
He hasn't got 8. He hasn't got 100% of Chom shares. He's only got his own. We're negotiating a percentage of his own shares.
Every house has a percentage of Chom shares. So as Becky says, you're negotiating for a percentage of his percentage.
Mm-hmm.
8%, he says, and okay, I'll go up to 50,000 on the golden jewels.
8%.
Some impressive jewelry to show off at the wedding or something, some crap like that.
8% with a further transfer of 20% on your death.
Oh, I have to leave that to my sons. I'm not going to give away 20%. That's 28%. No.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. I mean, even if the children were even. So this is just to for Ronnie's, but it's not a character discussion. But if all of his children were even in essence, then it would be 20% per child, right? Except of course he'll favour his first son.
Yes, but I'm using that well-known negotiating tactic of go high, ask for far more than I'm actually looking for, and hold the heel, back it down to the point where he thinks he's getting a bargain and we get what we wanted.
He said, okay, so he says, what I'll do is
Some
says,
inheritance for your daughter would be a good idea.
I'll give you 8% on marriage and a further 5% on my death.
Call it 7%. 15% in total.
6.
And you said 50,000 on top of that.
Yes.
You do understand that we are not in a position to agree or disagree. All we can do is take your offer now that we've negotiated your final stance and take it to our Lord for assent.
Well, I suggest you get on with it. He said it's not going to last forever.
Of that I have no doubt. No,
Oh, and I thought True Love did.
I never for a moment thought he would take 20% in either way. I was just trying to hit high in the hope that he would go low where we would get what we want and he thinks he's got a bargain.
I mean, 20% of shares. Oh, he says, yeah, that's as long as he does marry her and not just concubine, sort of.
Yeah.
He has
Yes.
to marry her.
Yes, that is assumed by the contract.
And I assume you or three are picking her up from the charter house.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be keen for us to do that.
Which is
And
sending up
specifically
bloody.
us.
That's warning signs right there.
Our house will, yes.
He said, from what I've told, you three are doing it.
The Bene Gesserit asked it to be us three, but the decision isn't down to us, you understand?
That's out of my control, he says. I have no idea, but you three, I've been told, are doing it. So
By whom?
by the royal house, by the Reverend Mother.
Yes, she asked for it to be us, but the decision isn't ours. It is our house's job to collect your daughter.
Yeah.
It may be us.
Well, I mean, the spaceport is here. The ship's leaving within a couple of days, so very possibly will be you.
We do have a embassy here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I take it, Doctor, you would be examining my daughter if you do meet her.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure she's fighting fit for the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. I think that's everything has been resolved. Yes, I believe we're having the wedding here, and your Sakona is paying half.
Indeed, you're paying half the wedding, yes.
Yes, and Sakona is paying half.
Seconda.
That's your house.
Slavona.
Savona, sorry. That's me.
Useless. It's like, who is this mysterious benefactor?
Well, that the payment of the other half is still in negotiation between ourselves and the Imperial Palace.
Okay. It seems to be to me everything's been arranged then, he says.
It would seem that they have not burdened you with the nuance of detail that they have not yet finalized.
He said, well, as I mentioned before, he said, it's not my decision. It's been out of my hands.
Indeed.
Well, at least you get one child married in the royal palace.
Yes. And he sort of gets up and walks through the door. If anyone wants to say anything else to him, you better do it now.
Offer to hold your peace.
No.
Nope.
A pleasure meeting you.
He sort of like nods as he's
I'm
leaving,
clearly false as I say it.
and he leaves.
I'm going to run out of napkins.
You're left alone in the room for a while. There's guards outside. You're left alone in the room if you want to discuss anything.
I think the main thing is we get that back to the house via the embassy.
Yes.
Which you can do fairly easy. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
The
What's this fixation on us, though? On us going?
yeah, that worries me.
It is peculiar, yes.
It's like there's some kind of personal vendetta, perhaps because I beat Fenring in that duel, and they see Bertim as partly responsible as well because they
It
mentioned
may
the
well
drugs.
be, yes.
Or they have something planned, and they know if we get wind of it, we would be required to inform our lord, and maybe they want us out of the way before they do anything, so we can't say anything.
Okay, so are you done here?
Yeah, we'll add our suspicions. Like we don't know why, but there seems to be a fixation on it being us three collecting her.
Yeah.
Which seems suspicious to us, but we don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Yes, so you get a message back to your embassy, but as you're leaving, as you're walking through the palace back to your rooms or leaving to go to the embassy, you do see a few people leaving what you assume is the meeting, preceded by the guildsman in his big enclosed tank. And you notice amongst them actually are some Harkonnens.
Huh. They're smaller than I imagined.
Well, one of them particularly isn't. One of them is quite big, very sort of round, and obviously he's floating just above the floor. It's just almost his toes are almost touching the floor as he floats by on suspensors.
The Baron Harkonnen himself.
But there is one very slim, very tall, young red-headed young man walking next to him.
Fade.
It's Sting!
Yep.
Get his autograph.
With his silver underpants.
Give us a few lines of your best song.
Which one's that?
As he
Not many.
as he sticks his hand out and says, "Don't stand so close to me."
Okay, and they sort of stalk off and they go off to a different wing where they're obviously in the palace, and they have rooms here, and they stalk off to the rooms of the palace.
Did you see that navigator? That was fucked up.
Yeah, they're all pretty strange, these navigators. Been mutated by the spice over a long period. So you get.
I don't think I can unsee it. I need PTSD counselling.
So you get called fairly early in the morning. They say there's a highliner leaving, sort of midday-ish. If you want to go to Wallets, you've got to be on.
Have we heard back from our mentor at all?
You can get a call on your communicator, saying that it's a Comnet transmitter, saying you're there. You might as well go, and we trust you to sort this out. Because obviously, again, there's what you've been saying is quite strange. There's goings on happening that we're not aware of. Since you've been involved and you're aware of the situation, you're probably best placed to avoid any problems if they come up. Anyone new involved might just stumble straight into it or be unaware of what's happening.
So I'm just concerned that the fixation on us was over the fact that they might better predict us if they know it's us. That's my concern. But yes.
It might well be to do with your involvement from the beginning and the fact that you embarrassed the royal house. there might well be a trap prepared for you. But obviously, that famous saying, the best way to avoid a trap is knowing of its existence. So be careful.
Oh, I prefer a las gun and a shield myself, but yes.
I rather prefer the best way to not step in a trap, not be caught in a trap, is not step in it.
Right, so to Charterhouse then. Well,
Yes.
that's a planet I know absolutely nothing about.
Well, to be honest, it's where the Bene Gesserit school has been for thousands of years now. It was one of the synchronized worlds.
I thought it was a secret, though, wasn't it? Or am I
No.
thinking later on during the God Emperor stuff?
Possibly, but Woolwich was one of the synchronized worlds. What was under the control of the thinking machines. It was subsequently devastated by atomics as the human forces of the Buterin Jihad systematically destroyed all of the machine-controlled planets. And at some point within the last 10,000 years, the Bene Gesserit has reassumed control over it. It's basically their training school.
Mm.
Same as you've got.
Okay.
I mean, they seem to do that. They seem to have like what's it called, Benny Flylaxes for the mentats.
Yeah.
And they seem to do things like that, have whole planets for training.
Mm. That happens in sci-fi universes when they don't think of planets as a planet with an ecosystem anymore. There's some reason in sci-fi, a planet is for this purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can then there's a Gren car waiting for you at the door for you to load your luggage onto.
How crude.
And yeah, you get taken by Gren car to the spaceport, which is basically a miniature city in itself. It's so big. You're driven by a guard and you're checked in at the gate. As you enter the spaceport, there's dozens of Gren cars around you, and ornithopters beat the wings in the air. But as you approach, you can tell that the spaceport is actually on the coast, and you can see large ships delivering payloads. This might be even some of your stuff from Mazine on the other side of the planet being delivered to be shipped off planet. And approaching the spaceport, and above all, this lighter, huge ship squats on its landing pad. And the driver mentions that a really big ship, a frigate, is meant to be docking quite soon. That's going to be quite impressive. It's a pity you weren't here a couple of days later. You'd been able to see it. And what this ship is you've got is a lighter.
But no, what's the ship that's coming in?
A frigate.
I'll have my radio transmitter keyed at the time.
Oh, you're sending all that information back. Okay, yeah.
Just in case it was relevant.
Yeah.
And upon arrival at the landing pad, you have to get taken to the boarding terminal, which is a large complex in its own right. Not unlike an airport in today's airport. And you must check your luggage. Okay, you go through some sort of security control.
What they're looking for, because I've got loads of weapons.
Well, you present your identity. And
say they're flying under diplomatic immunity. So
yeah, you're asked if you've got anything that breaks the conventions, the Landsrad conventions. But if you say, are you going to say you've got anything, or are you keeping quiet?
What does break the Landsrad conventions? Like, I have all my gear.
Yeah, I mean, if you say you've got weapons, he's not particularly bothered about.
Yeah, I have weapons.
Hand weapons. I mean, obviously, security is at maximum on these ships, and no one would dare have a fight on board a ship because you'd lose all rights to space flight forever. So it's a big threat over everybody.
yeah.
And the terminal, once you get through security, the terminal is spacious with huge windows that overlook the sea and the ship. And as you make your way to different to the lighter, you can see there are many entrances to ships, different boarding ramps, and you can see further down the terminal. You can see the Count and Lady Fenring, and you can see the Count is saying goodbye to Lady Fenring, and she's boarding the ship.
She's boarding the ship, but he isn't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then walking past you, and floating past you, the Harkonnens move further down the terminus to another gate.
Oh, I so want to kill a Harkonnen.
Maybe in time. And then it's your turn. You walk through. Sorry.
I need you to just remember the last line from Gladiator, but not today.
Not today.
Is there a film where the last line is to pull the plug?
Pull the plug.
Probably.
See.
Possibly would have been the next Jaws movie if they'd ever made it.
And it's your turn to board the ship. So you walk through the embarkation lounge and then onto the ramp onto the ship. And inside the lighter, you're surrounded by opulence, and the walls and floors appear to be made of mahogany or some sort of other alien type of wood. They're covered with carpets and tapestries. And as usual, there are guards stationed at every juncture. After walking for several minutes through the maze, inside the lighter, a guard leads you to your stateroom. Okay? And he asks you for security's sake not to leave unescorted. And he points to a Comnet transmitter on the inside of the wall and says, you can summon a guard here if you do need to leave.
Are there any communal areas?
Yes, basically what you've got is stateroom consists of a large living room with a library and a Solido projector, comfortable couches and chair dogs, all illuminated by glow globes. And your rooms adjoin the central living space off of this. Each has its own bathroom and sleeping area.
Okay. Is there a communal for mixing with other people, or is it just us?
No, there's
three?
not. Just you three.
So what about food? Is there a canteen?
Yes, you have to go somewhere to eat. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Like I say, it's quite comfortably well appointed areas.
It's better than the palace, anyway.
It's a lot more comfortable than the palace. The palace, like I said before, is very sort of Trumpian in its decor. Lots of gold. But you actually spend quite a lot of time in here before you actually leave. So you spend the next day and a half in your quarters before the even ship takes off, because it's quite a lot to load. The ship is that big, it takes a long time to load.
Why couldn't we stay a day in the palace then?
Yeah, I have a feeling that they wanted us well out of the way.
So after several hours into your stay, you feel a slight lurch and the lighter takes off. And about 4 hours later, you can see from the viewports of your suite, you can glimpse the titanic bulk of a highliner. And it's capable of holding hundreds of frigates and lighters in its hold. But the guild security, the guild security ensures complete safety of rival frigates on board. No one's allowed to fight, and it's quite, you share the same hold and never dare attack each other. And there's another lurch, and the lighter docks at the highliner. And shortly afterwards, the guild navigators start to fold space. Is there anything do you want to try and leave your quarters while on ship? Do you?
Well, for food, we'll start with that.
Yeah.
We'll start with that. I'd quite like to.
I'd like to not exit this ship as a skeleton.
I'd like to offer my apologies to Lady Fenring, but I want to do it discreetly and don't want to embarrass her. But more importantly, I want to know what the hell she's doing.
Okay. Yeah, you can go after the ship is docked with the highliner. the bell chimes at the door, and a guard is there saying, "If you'd like to follow me, I'll show you where the communal eating area is." And he takes you down another winding passage to a dining room, and several people already in here, and there are tables set out. It's quite again plush area. People, it's just like a restaurant. People bring food over, and you can eat, and you're shown to a table to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
In here, you can see in one corner there's Harkonnen's, Lady Finring's over in another corner, and whatever food you order is brought over to you.
Okay, and nobody moves around between tables or anything like that, do they?
People are getting up and moving about. Yeah,
okay.
A few people, not massively, not a huge amount. It's mostly just the servants, but a few people do.
In that case, when we've finished our meal, I'm going to approach Lady Fenring and just say I just wish to apologise for my part in what happened, and sort of stand to attention, turn and go to leave, so it appears genuine.
Mm-hmm. So she says, "Yes, well, I understand you are acting under orders of your lord. It'd be nice if you hadn't cheated."
Cheated?
By drugging the count.
I didn't drug the count. It's news to me. She
sort of looks past you over towards your table and says, "Well, someone certainly drugged him."
And I look at her and I look back at her all confused. "My lady, I actually take offence to that," and I turn and leave.
Back at the table, Bertram, are you going to scan this food that you brought?
Yeah, why not?
Always.
Yeah.
Goes without saying. Remind me, do I need to make a roll for that or not?
Yeah, you better make a roll for this one.
Oh, bucker.
You're going to have to tell me what.
You have a poison snooper, don't you?
Yeah, so would it be under equipment and devices?
It would be, wouldn't it? So you're going to roll devices, equipment devices roll.
Can you remind me which attribute equipment is under? Because I haven't written it down here for some reason.
I'm just going to have to look that up.
Equipment comes under intellect.
It isn't? Okay, that's what I thought. Why have I not... Okay, okay, that's a 3.
Oh yeah, it's in the right-hand column, about 5th one down.
Prayers of the righteous, yeah.
Would it be
Down, yeah.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's intelligence.
Yeah, so and then perception, yeah?
Yeah.
And
what's that, Becky?
Oh, I was just saying, if it's an equipment role, there's an equipment skill, but I didn't know that was a thing, and apparently I can't use things.
Oh.
You got weapons, didn't you? You use weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Dromedai is because it's a 3, and my score. Oh, it's only a 4.
Is that 7?
No, it's in total. It's a 4.
Oh, 4. But what if you had your?
I've added it. I got 3s, and my devices is a 1.
Oh dear. Okay, so you got 4. Nothing actually comes up on your poison snooper. You're not really able to tell anything. Unless
I add devices and equipment together, or is it just devices that I add?
Devices and equipment.
Oh, in that case, that's 6. But even so.
Okay. You're unsure about what it is, but you sort of say to the other two not to take any of the drink that's been given to you. Okay. The food is okay, but you sort of say stay away from the drink. There's something in it.
Can I cast my mind back? Who served us the drink and where did it come from?
You can see that it's the drinks come from the normal kitchen, obviously, but it's past the Harkonnen table.
You might get your wish.
Interesting. I take my glass. Interesting. Has the Harkonnen got the same drinks as us? We've all been served the same drink.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
Okay, I take my glass. I'm going to head over to the Harkonnen table.
I want to speak to the manager.
And the Baron has an awful lot of food in front of him.
Before I get there, I'm going to have a look at one of the glasses on the table and see how much wine is in it and adjust my glass to the same amount by pouring some out.
Okay.
Right, so we get the bit of music from Raiders of the Lost Ark at this point.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna try and swap glasses, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go over, introduce myself in the same way I did to the other family. I say, may I, for just a moment, and introduce myself? Can you mind if I have a seat? And sort of go down, put my glass down, have a little conversation, say who I am, say I'm the person that defeated Fenring in a duel, and then as I get up to leave, after a brief chat, just wanted to say hello, great fan of your work, and as I get up, I take the other glass.
Your work, like nobody is, but they're quite shocked when you sit down. Introduce yourself and sit down. They're quite no one does this, not to the Harkonnens. And the count is sort of like, what do you think you're doing? You just can't sit here. What do you want? And he immediately snaps his shield on.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to cause any offence at all. I was actually just hoping to say hello and introduce myself. I didn't mean to cause offence. I will immediately depart. And I still switch the glass.
Okay. Have you got some sort of sleight of hand type of?
Guerrilla action.
Guerrilla action, yeah.
If that counts.
Yeah, go on.
With
It's sort of a guerrilla action, isn't it?
Yeah, although that's under leadership.
Stealth.
Sure.
Okay.
Stealth, subterfuge.
Yeah, stealth for substitution.
Sabotage.
None of those. I'll take it. Subterfuge would be a good one if you had that.
I don't have subterfuge. I'm looking for stealth. I don't.
Stealth is in the far left-hand corner.
Yes,
I have a couple of points anyway, and that is under C, coordination.
Yeah.
And that's going to be presumably dexterity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, dexterity rather than reaction.
Oh, it's a 6, 7, 8.
Oh, okay. So you can, you do swap your glasses, and there's no chink as you pick up the other one and you walk back. Are you drinking? You're not drinking from it, I take it.
From his one?
Yeah.
No, I
No, because he could be doing the Wesley thing.
Poisoning all of us.
So is the doctor going to scan this glass?
Yes,
Do it.
definitely.
Okay, if you want to roll another scan.
A skein.
It could be the Wesley thing. They were both poisoned.
Oh, right, okay. So one on the drama die, but still, my highest was a 6.
Oh, okay.
So that still gets me a 9.
Okay, so as you scan, you get the indication just as the battery in the scanner is dying. that this glass too is been drugged.
They need to invent better charges for these things. But yes, that's drugged as well. Don't drink it.
I stand up and I immediately tell the Baron Harkonnen, don't drink the wine. You have been drugged. So originally I was thinking they did it, right? But now I know he's innocent. So I say, so I'm going to announce it to the room because assumedly we've all been drugged. And this will get us kudos.
You have been drugged. Okay,
Don't drink the wine, Baron. You've been drugged. In fact, I believe we all have, or a large number of us have.
That does create quite a commotion. Really, the guild has been drugging people on the ships to make them more docile, so they don't actually fight as well, to ensure they don't fight on the ships.
Oops.
So you've actually uncovered a bit of a plot there that's going to create a bit of a stink in the guild.
Oops.
And as the clamours of protestation arise and people throw their glasses on the floor and start complaining, you maybe depart back to your rooms quietly.
Dear diary, Monday, see above. Interesting day. Nice meal. Drink was the drink was interesting. We may have won some credit with the Harkonnens. Not sure how I feel about that.
May have lost some credit as well.
Yeah.
Because I sat down at the table. What I will do, I will draft a letter to the Harkonnens. I will explain the situation in full and my actions. I believe they'd poisoned us, so I was returning the poisoned glass when I discovered that his drink was also poisoned. That's when I alerted the room. So I'm explaining my actions.
It's alerting the room that has caused the problem, because no one's realised that the guild was drugging up to that point.
Yes.
So that's going to be an ongoing argument between the guild and the houses now. But
Sure. I just want to apologise to the Baron for the way I sat down and introduced myself and explained what I was doing now that I know he's innocent.
Okay.
Whereas I was, of course, going to do him in kind.
Dear diary, supplemental. Automata did something rather unique today. She created a problem for other diplomats to solve.
You haven't got your work cut out for you. I mean, you're never going to be short of a job. You have a job, are you? Really?
No.
I'm a woman of action, but I couldn't do it.
I like it. I like it mostly because A, it's keeping me in a job, and B, should that job fail, you're there with a sword. It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Okay, so it takes a while. It takes a few hours, but I mean, obviously they're folding space. There's no actual travel involved in this. So after some sort of 20 hours, you arrive above Watch 9. And the lighter departs the highliner. It takes about another 4 hours to actually depart and actually land. But when you walk out through the lighter's door, bright sunlight greets you, and blue sky stretches out above white sandstone roads, and the walkways reflects the morning's light. Buildings scattered across the landscape and placed more and more densely as your gaze moves forward up towards the Bene Gesserit school. And the Grand car sweeps into the gateway, and he throws his door open and says, "What I call you, Shavona? You the Shavona contingent?"
Certainly.
We are.
I'm here to take you to the school.
I'm bouncing on the spot, first of all, because I'm just trying to make sure this place has the same gravity and it's the novelty. I've never been off world.
You're certainly off world now. So he says, "Come in. I'm here to take you to the school."
What an alien planet.
Yeah, it's very Earth-like. You know, all the plants are still green, the sky's still blue. There's one sun.
I'm mean, I've met aliens before. You know, other humans, obviously, but alien humans. Now I'm on an alien world.
You certainly are, but everyone here is human.
Of course.
And the car sweeps off down the broad avenue
Him,
towards the
I
school.
say, pointing to the fish tank navigator in the front of the ship.
I'm not entirely sure there's actually a navigator on board the ships, is there?
Well, I assume that's how they do it.
'Cause in the film,
Yeah, in the film they do it as a projection, but I assumed that was a David Lynch thing.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I have to look that up. But yeah, very possibly. Yeah, they were human, weren't they? I don't think they don't have to class as human anymore. But yeah, you're swept off towards the school, and we'll leave it there for tonight. Benny Jesuit School next week.
Ski.
A school full of mind readers. Well, I'm very simple. I basically think about
Easy to read.
sex, violence, and nuclear explosions.
All the important stuff.
Explosion goes boom.
Duty, loyalty, honor, somewhere.
Obviously, Bertram's more science-based with a deeper understanding of the world, and Darius is thinking most of the time, "Oh God, no."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think the navigators would be considered humans, by the way, because you've also got what did they call them? There's people like with wings and shit like that, but they're still considered human. Because they started as like there's people that live in space. They don't even get like have a planet, and I'm trying to remember what they're called. They're from one of the later books.
There's so much. There's such a big universe. It's incredible.
Begins with S.
Or F. Or yeah.
I think S. Yeah. 1 letter down, 7 to go, or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Yes, thoroughly enjoyed that. That was a good session. And the intrigue definitely increases.
Yes, there's a lot to unravel. Not all of it perhaps relevant. You might have to decide which strands are relevant.
Plans within plans, eh?
That's what you asked for.
Well,
it's due. You have to have a plan within a plan.
See, here's the thing. When it comes to the great woven tapestries of great plots like this, I just have a very simple way of dealing with those strands. Burn the fucking lot of them.
So does Atomica. You should blow it up.
Look, I'm preempting. I'm doing the plans within plans myself. That's why we've got ornithopters in permanent rotation now.
Yeah. So you're gonna last gun with your ornithopters, do you?
If the invasion fleet turns up, yeah.
Well, I mean, what is Kaitang? I mean, it is the Imperial homeworld.
Yeah.
You're on. Okay.
No, in space. This is the thing. If an invasion fleet turns up over our turf,
okay,
we have suicidal ornithopters in space, in orbit.
Okay, just over your city sort of area.
Yeah. Now, if they come over land, then, well, they'll have to make a tactical decision on the ground. I'm not there and can't take responsibility.
We believe in that great battle adage. In space, no one will hear them scream.
In space, there's no evidence left.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Yeah.
In space, no one can truly assess the gravity of a situation.
That's bad. That's bad. Yeah. I will say, actually, I forgot to say, but as an aside to the game, as you turn up, you do see Lady Fenring arriving at the school as well.
Yes.
Hmm.
Concerned about that. I want to know what she's doing.
So do I.
Mhm.
I want to accidentally have a chat with her, but I think I'm the last person she'd ever want to chat to. Just after Darius and Bertin being the second and third last.
Well, you do have a skilled diplomat and a very very striking school doctor.
I'm pretty
Striking.
sure that of the people she hates, myself and Bertin are like the bottom, like the most hated. And Darius, by association, is sort of next.
Yeah,
on.
I'm kind of hate adjacent.
Jace.
It's going to be a very hard conversation to have with her then, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But, I gave my apology. I looked sincerely offended that she accused me of cheating.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't cheating as such. He wasn't drugged for that reason.
No.
He was drugged for a different reason, but he wasn't drugged for that reason.
Not my fault.
But she didn't need to know that. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Next week. And also
very much.
Monday for Bish Bash Bosh.
Monday.
Bish Bash Bosh.
There's more
Pathfinder
people than
2.
Bish Bash Bosh, you know.
Pathfinder 2 on Monday.
There are my shadows and understudies.
I think actually we've got some quite good, interesting characters actually for Monday.
Actually.
You do realise that everyone couldn't quite literally overshadow Bish Bash Bosh due to her height.
Due to height, yeah.
We don't have a healer though, sir, and I couldn't afford a healing potion.
Well, I am a paladin.
That gives us one heal, right?
Yeah, I can do lay on of hands, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be touching me where I'm not expecting it.
It's purely medical, honestly.
Yes, that's what they usually say.
You're a priest, for fuck's sake. I don't believe you.
Goes with the territory.
Trust me, I'm doing it with the will of my God.
At least you're not super pleased.
It is a bit ironic that paladins do have lay on of hands, I must say.
I said at least Ron is not super priest.
That I mean, I loved playing. I mean, it was fun to do, but Super Priest came out more out of finding a loophole.
Super Priest, what was that?
That was where basically in Advanced Fighting Fantasy, advancing your skills and stuff is quite ambiguous. It just says per adventure. So I thought that meant like per session. So I was doing it like that, and then Ronnie's character literally maxed out, so you could not fail any roll.
The thing is, he was a fairly sort of simple priest, so he was only really I was putting the points into his casting for his faith, and for his staff for defense. And after about 3 sessions, I was only rolling to see whether I fumbled.
3 sessions. Brilliant.
Because I wasn't. I mean, the thing was, if I'd split the points more evenly, then that would have been one thing. But he was very focused as a priest. He was only interested in being able to heal and to do his Lord's work, and so that's where he was putting. That's where he was sort of growing. After about 3 sessions, after about 4 or 5, because he just whack. He got the name. I mean, his actual name was Galen. But he ended up getting nicknamed Super Priest, and it stuck because
That's fantastic.
Honestly, I was only rolling to see whether there was a critical failure. Other than that, I was smiting the guy or the spell would cast. So yeah, it was fun, but it's not one. It was fun, and it was funny to do
as an individual thing.
It was an individual thing, and it's one. What it did expose is that there is a loophole that can be seriously exploited in AFF.
Mm-hmm.
Quite without intention, but you could see someone really sort of min-maxing a character quite insanely.
We
with AFF using that.
Found something like that in the in Savage Worlds actually, where someone didn't bother taking any advances; they just took edges.
Yeah.
They went, get basic dice and just really studied what edges would work.
Yeah.
And obviously, instead of going up a die, a +2 or a +3 is worth way more than an extra die type.
Yes.
And that works so well.
The only thing that kind of cripples them eventually with edges is if the edge requires a minimum.
But then you're already up there. You can afford to go up one. Because you've already got massive advantage to start with. You keep the basic dices and you take the +2s wherever you can. Or re-rolls even.
Because I mean, there's particularly like professional edges will tell you, right, you need to be this rank. You need to have a minimum of this stat. It needs to be this minimum. That stat needs to be that. I mean, I'm going to be running Shine Tower starting next week. And my players were doing characters on Thursday night, and it was just, first of all, trying to eke out points. But that's my players for you. But they're kind of looking at things and they're sort of mapping their character and making sure they've got all their skills at the bare minimum so they can take the professional edge that they're after. It's going to be interesting. It's sort of high fantasy. I've got an elf, a dwarf, and a human. Because some cliches are just worth having.
Yeah, Shine Tower sounds interesting.
It's one of those ones. Savage Worlds is a rule system I like. Shine Tower is pretty much a sort of straight up. I mean, a lot of Savage Worlds settings tend to be something a wee bit. They take a sort of genre and mess with it. So rather than having Wild West, you've got Deadlands, which is the Wild West but zombies. Instead of a straight up supers game, you've got Necessary Evil, which is a game where there's an alien invasion and all the superheroes go to fight the alien invasion and they get wiped out. So the only people left to actually defend the Earth are the villains, which is just a great premise.
That's a good idea.
Hence the title Necessary Evil. But Shine Tower is like a straight up sort of high fantasy setting. There's no skewering. And it's just nice. Do something different with it. Bit more straight.
Well, I should probably cut the broadcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for playing.
See you Monday.
See you Monday for.
Yeah, man.